Have you ever been in the middle of sex with someone? Body to body, everything apparently normal? And suddenly your own body did something so strange that you almost got scared of yourself? A wave of chills for no reason. A tight chest that wanted to cry. A weird tingling in places that had nothing to do with pleasure. Or even that strange feeling that something else was in the room, watching, judging, or trying to tell you something. And then, when everything was over, instead of feeling satisfied, you felt empty, drained, or strangely emotional. Many people would just laugh it off, ignore it, or pretend it never happened. But you did not. You noticed it. You felt it deeply. And somewhere inside you, a question began to grow. Is there something wrong with me? If you have ever hidden these experiences, you are not the only one. There are men and women all over the world who carry a silent secret. During sex, their body and soul seem to speak a language that no one around them understands. While others talk about sex like it is something simple, casual, no big deal, your system reacts as if it were something huge, meaningful, and sometimes overwhelming. Your body does not just respond to touch. It responds to truth, to lies, to intention, to energy, to the real connection that is or is not there. In this video, I want to speak to those people. I will call them the chosen ones, not because they are better than anyone else, but because life has chosen them to feel deeper, to sense more, to be unable to sleepwalk through intimacy. Chosen ones do not get to hide from themselves. Their body refuses to stay silent when something is wrong, and also when something is profoundly right. Maybe you have already tried to convince yourself to be normal. You told yourself that sex is just sex. You tried to act relaxed, casual, detached. You tried to enjoy only the physical part and forget everything else. But your body did not cooperate. It sent chills down your spine when a hidden truth entered the room. It squeezed your chest when your heart did not feel safe. It created tingles, pressure, strange sensations in places you could not explain. And afterwards, it rewarded you with clarity, either a deep peace or a heavy emptiness that you could not ignore. Here is the possibility I want you to consider today. What if these weird signs are not a malfunction, but a message? What if your body has been trying to protect you, guide you, and wake you up, long before your mind understood what was happening? What if these reactions are marks of a sensitive soul, not of a broken one? In the next minutes, we are going to walk through 5 weird signs during sex that often appear in chosen ones. Signs that almost nobody talks about openly, but that silently shape your decisions, your relationships, and the way you see yourself. As we go through each one, you may recognize moments from your own life that you never told anyone because you were afraid of being mocked, rejected, or called too sensitive. My goal here is not to scare you, judge you, or push any belief on you. My goal is simple: to give you words, to help you understand what you feel, to show you that there is coherence behind your reactions. Once you can see the pattern, shame begins to fall away. You stop asking, "What is wrong with me?" and start asking, "What is my body trying to show me?" And that question changes everything. Before we dive into the first sign, I want to invite you to do something very simple but powerful. If you have ever felt something weird during sex that you never had the courage to explain, write in the comments, "I feel this." No details, no story, just these 3 words: I feel this. You will not only be speaking for yourself, you will be silently saying to many other chosen ones who will read the comments, you are not alone. In the next part, we will start with one of the most common and misunderstood reactions. Those sudden waves of chills and energy that move through your body in the middle of sex, as if your whole being had become an antenna. Picture this. You are in the middle of sex. The room is not cold. The temperature is fine. The moment is flowing. Then, out of nowhere, a wave of chills rises through your body. Your skin gets goosebumps. You might feel a sudden shiver running down your spine, or a strange electric sensation moving through your arms, your legs, or your back. Nothing in the environment justifies it. The other person does not feel anything unusual, but you do. It is intense, clear, and impossible to ignore, even if you pretend you did not notice. For many chosen ones, this is one of the first signs that sex is never just physical. While the world repeats that it is all about chemistry and instinct, your body responds as if there is something more happening, something emotional, something energetic, something deeply personal. The chills appear exactly in those moments when the truth of the situation hits you, even if you do not have words for it yet. It might be when the other person looks at you in a certain way. It might be when you suddenly realize, I am giving more than I am receiving. It might be when you feel a rare tenderness that you have not experienced in years. Whatever it is, your body reacts first. Logic comes later. Here is what most people do with this. They ignore it. They think, it is nothing, just nerves. Or they tell themselves they are being dramatic. But chosen ones rarely get away with that for long, because the chills are not only about fear or anxiety. They can be a yes or a no from your inner world. Sometimes, the wave of energy comes at the exact moment when you feel deeply seen, respected, and safe. In that case, the chills feel almost beautiful, as if something inside you were saying, pay attention, this matters, this is real. Other times, however, the sensation is different. The same chills feel colder, heavier, almost like a warning. Your body tightens instead of opening. You might feel your stomach contract, your breathing change, your muscles become slightly tense. On the outside, everything continues as usual. On the inside, your system is whispering, something here is not right for me. You may not want to admit it because you like the person, or you are afraid to disappoint them, or you do not want to be alone. But your body refuses to play along. This is one of the hardest parts of being a chosen one. Your body tells the truth even when your mind is trying to lie. You can convince yourself with beautiful arguments. You can say, everyone does this, or it is not that serious, or I should just relax and enjoy. But the wave of chills does not negotiate. It arrives, it passes through you, and it leaves a clear mark. Something inside you reacted. Maybe to real connection, maybe to real misalignment. Either way, it is a sign. Instead of treating these chills as an enemy, you can start treating them as a signal light on your inner dashboard. When they appear, you do not need to panic or stop everything immediately. But you can quietly ask yourself, right there or later, what was happening in the exact moment the chills came? Did I feel more safe or less safe? Did something in the person's attitude, words, or energy change? Was I crossing a boundary I did not really want to cross? Or did I feel for a second truly seen and deeply touched? With time, you will start seeing patterns. You may notice that the warm, expansive chills come when your soul recognizes truth, care, and emotional safety. And the cold, tense chills come when you are ignoring your own limits, your own needs, or your own intuition. The sensation might look the same on the surface, but the flavor inside is different. Your job is not to control it. but to listen. You are not strange because your body reacts strongly during sex. You are sensitive and awake. You were not designed to sleepwalk through intimacy. Your nervous system responds to more than just physical stimulation. It responds to atmosphere, intention, and emotional honesty. That can be confusing at first, but if you respect it, it becomes one of your greatest protections. So the next time a wave of chills runs through your body in the middle of sex, instead of immediately thinking, "What is wrong with me?" try a different question. What is my body trying to show me right now? In the next sign, we will move from the surface of the skin to the center of everything, your chest. That tightness, warmth, or sudden urge to cry in the middle of sex that makes you wonder why your heart seems to react more than your body. Second weird sign: chest pressure, heart flips, and the urge to cry. Now let us talk about one of the most confusing reactions during sex. When your chest becomes the main character. From the outside, things might look right. There is touch, desire, movement, maybe pleasure. But inside your chest, something else is happening. You feel a tightness, as if someone were gently pressing from the inside, or a warm weight spreading behind your ribs. A lump in your throat appears out of nowhere. And suddenly, you feel this strange urge to cry. Not from physical pain, but from something deeper that you cannot name. Most people are not prepared for this. The common idea about sex is that it should be fun, light, simple. So when your chest tightens and your eyes almost fill with tears, you think, "This is not normal. Why am I like this?" You may even try to push it down, switch off your feelings, or distract your mind. But the chest does not lie. For chosen ones, the heart reacts strongly when intimacy touches places that no one ever listened to. Sometimes, this chest pressure is your heart saying, "I do not feel safe here." Maybe the other person is kind on the surface, but emotionally distant. Maybe the connection is rushed, or you do not feel truly seen, only used. Maybe you crossed a boundary you were not ready to cross just to avoid losing someone. Your mind says, "It is fine, just go with it." But your chest is sending another message. "This is too much for me," or "This is not honest," or "I am here with my body, but not with my soul." Other times, though, the same sensation shows up for the opposite reason. Your heart is finally being touched in a way it is not used to. You are with someone who is present, gentle, respectful. The moment is clean, caring, almost sacred. And your chest trembles. It is as if all the years of defending yourself suddenly meet a moment of true safety, and your heart does not know what to do. The warm pressure comes. The urge to cry appears. Not because something is wrong, but because something is finally right. Your walls are shaking. Your system is realizing, "I am actually safe to feel here." And that can be just as overwhelming as danger. This is why chosen ones get confused. The body can react with tears both in bad situations and in beautiful ones. The key is not to panic, but to observe the context and the aftermath. If your chest tightens and later you feel small, drained, ashamed, or disconnected from yourself, your heart was probably warning you. If your chest warms and later you feel softer, more honest, and strangely at peace, your heart may have been opening to a rare moment of real connection. Most of your life, people may have told you that you are too emotional, too intense, or that you take sex too seriously. But here is the truth. You are not too emotional. You are emotionally honest. Your chest refuses to play the game of pretending that intimacy is neutral when it is not. It knows that sex can either heal or hurt. It knows that you cannot separate your body from your heart without paying a high price. You are not broken because your heart reacts during sex. You are a chosen one whose inner world refuses to stay silent. Your chest is not trying to ruin the moment. It is trying to protect your soul. In the next sign, we will go even more specific and a bit stranger. Those tingles, warmth, and pressure in certain spots, hands, feet, spine, neck, head, lower belly, that make you feel as if parts of your body are being activated during sex. Third, weird sign, mysterious tingling and activation in specific body areas. There are moments during sex when the most intense sensations do not show up where everyone expects. Instead of being centered only in the obvious zones of pleasure, you suddenly notice something unusual in other parts of your body. Your hands begin to tingle, as if tiny sparks were dancing under your skin. Your feet feel strangely heavy or rooted to the ground. A warm line rises along your spine. The back of your neck feels sensitive, almost electric. Perhaps there is a gentle pressure in the middle of your forehead or at the top of your head, as if someone had placed an invisible fingertip there. From the outside, nothing special is happening. Inside, it feels as if different points of you were slowly lighting up. For most people, sex is described only in mechanical or emotional terms. But for chosen ones, the body behaves like a living map. Different regions store different stories, fears, memories, and forms of sensitivity. When you enter intimacy, you are not just triggering pleasure. You are stepping into a field where the nervous system, emotions, and even your sense of meaning start interacting. The tingling in your hands might come when you feel you are giving more than you receive. The weight in your legs can surface when some part of you does not really want to be there, even if you are smiling. The warmth in your spine may rise when you feel profoundly seen and your whole being is trying to open, even if that scares you. This is why these sensations feel like activation. Intimacy lowers some of your defenses. The masks get weaker, the truth gets closer, and the body uses these points to speak. You may notice that your throat feels tight in moments when you are holding back words you truly want to say. Your belly might react when you are ignoring an intuition. Your heart area responds when you sense a lack of emotional safety or a rare presence of real care. It is not random that these places come alive. They are like small doors where your inner world tries to send signals outward. For a chosen one, this can be unsettling. You see other people describing sex as something simple and controlled, while your body seems to be running a complex inner ceremony without your permission. You may even feel embarrassed, wondering why your hands shake, why your breath changes, why a certain spot on your back suddenly burns or tingles, as if something inside you had been switched on. Yet, what looks strange is often your sensitivity doing exactly what it was made to do. Respond to what words are not naming. These sensations become especially important when you look at what was happening in the moment they appeared and how you felt afterwards. There are times when the tingling leaves you feeling more present, more open, more honest with yourself. In those cases, something about that encounter aligned with your truth, and your body registered that. There are other times when the activation feels heavy, and later you feel drained, confused, or less yourself. In those situations, your body may have been reacting to a subtle crossing of your own boundaries, even if you were not ready to admit it. The point is not to transform every little sensation into a complicated theory. That would only create fear and tension. The point is to stop treating your body as if it were wrong for reacting. When your hands tingle, when your neck tightens, when your spine lights up, you have the right to take that seriously. This does not mean you must interrupt everything or dramatize the moment, but you can, at least inside yourself, acknowledge that your system is trying to tell you something. A chosen one does not always understand immediately, but learns to say, "I felt that, and I will not pretend I did not." You are not strange because certain parts of your body wake up in unusual ways during sex. You are simply more connected to layers that most people spend a lifetime numbing. Your nervous system is not defective. It is precise. It picks up atmospheres, intentions, and emotional truths, and prints them on your skin, your muscles, and your inner sensations. If you treat this with respect instead of shame, it becomes less of a burden and more of a compass. In the next sign, we will move from the inside of your body to the space around you, those moments when, during sex, you feel that there is something else in the room, an invisible presence, a strange weight, or even a sacred silence that makes everything feel bigger than two people. Fourth weird sign: when it feels like there is more than just two of you in the room. There are moments during sex when, if someone walked in and looked from the outside, they would only see two people in a room. But from the inside, you know that is not the whole truth. The air feels different. The atmosphere becomes strangely heavy or strangely sacred. You become hyper-aware of every movement, every breath, every silence. Not in a relaxed way, but in a way that makes you feel as if the moment were being watched, measured, or weighed by something bigger than you. It is as if the room has gained a third presence. Not a person, but a kind of invisible witness. Sometimes this presence feels calm and protective. You are with someone who respects you, who listens to your body, who honors your limits. The connection is not perfect, but it is honest. In those moments, the air around you feels almost like a safe bubble. You notice a peace that does not come from the absence of fear, but from the absence of lies. You feel that life is looking at that scene and quietly approving, as if saying, "This honors who you are." There is a silence that is not empty. It is full. You speak more softly without planning to. You move with more awareness. Deep inside, you sense that this is not just sex. It is a moment that marks your story. Other times, the same sensation takes a darker tone. Everything may look exciting on the surface, but the air feels thick, almost uncomfortable. You feel a subtle tension that does not match what your mouth is saying. Part of you is participating, another part is stepping back and observing. You may suddenly feel as if your own conscience has entered the room and is quietly asking you questions you do not want to answer. Is this really what you want? Is this really who you are? Is this how you want to treat your own soul? Even if you push these questions away, they hover there, like a presence that refuses to leave. For chosen ones, this is not imagination or drama. It is awareness. You feel that sex is never just about that night, that bed, that person. You sense that every encounter is connected to your future, your self-respect, your ability to trust yourself later. That is why the room sometimes feels crowded, even when there are only two bodies there. You are not only dealing with what is happening now, but also with everything it will echo inside you afterwards. Your sensitivity refuses to pretend that what happens behind closed doors stays only there. It knows that the energy of that moment will walk out with you, in your thoughts, in your mood, in the way you look at yourself in the mirror. This strange feeling of not being alone can make you feel out of place in a world that treats sex as something light and disconnected from meaning. You might hear people say, "It is just fun," while you stand there knowing that for you, it never feels like just anything. When the atmosphere gets heavy, you feel the weight in your chest, your stomach, your skin. When the atmosphere becomes sacred, you feel as if your whole being is being invited to grow. Either way, you cannot treat it as neutral. Your system will not let you. The important thing is to stop fighting this perception as if it were an enemy. When you sense that invisible witness in the room, you are not going crazy. You are noticing what many people spend years running from. You are feeling the moral and emotional weight of your own choices. You are aware that what you do with your body affects your soul, and what you do with your soul affects your future. This awareness can be uncomfortable, but it is also one of the clearest signs that you were not made to live on autopilot. You were made to live awake. If you pay attention, you will see a pattern. There are encounters after which that invisible presence feels like a quiet blessing, even if the relationship does not last. And there are encounters after which that same presence feels like a mirror you desperately want to avoid. One leaves you more in peace with yourself. The other leaves you negotiating with your own conscience. A chosen one cannot stay in that negotiation forever without breaking something inside. At some point, the inner voice becomes louder than the desire to fit in. You are not strange because sex sometimes feels like a spiritual moment to you, whether in a beautiful or uncomfortable way. You are simply tuned into a reality that is always there, but that most people choose to ignore. You feel when your actions honor your truth, and you feel when they betray it. The room does not really change. What changes is your level of honesty with yourself. In the next sign, we are going to move to what might be the clearest and most undeniable indicator for a chosen one. What happens after everything is over? The kind of tiredness, emptiness, or deep peace that hits you when the lights are off. The noise is gone, and only you and your inner world are left. Fifth weird sign. The way you feel after sex. If you really want to know what sex did to you, do not look only at what you felt during the act. Look at what happens afterwards. The bodies separate, the noise fades, the room becomes quiet again. From the outside, it looks like everything is over. But inside you, it is just beginning. That is when your body and your soul finally tell you the truth. There are times when, after sex, you feel a tiredness that goes far beyond your muscles. Your body might be fine, but there is a deep inner fatigue, as if something in you had been emptied. You move slower. Your energy feels low. You may even feel slightly irritated or sad, and you cannot find a clear reason. The other person might seem satisfied, relaxed, light. You, on the other hand, feel as if you have given away more of yourself than you meant to. It is as if your inner battery had been pulled out and not put back. There are other moments when the main feeling is not tiredness, but a strange emptiness. You lie there, you get dressed, you return to your normal life. And somewhere inside, there is a quiet, hollow space. You might look at your phone, check messages, scroll through social media, anything to avoid the silence. Because in the silence, a question appears. If this was supposed to make me feel good, why do I feel so disconnected from myself right now? You are close to someone physically, yet you feel emotionally far from yourself. It is a lonely feeling, even if the person is still next to you. These reactions are not random mood swings. For chosen ones, they are a kind of inner report. During the act, you may push yourself, ignore signals, or play a role you think you are supposed to play. But after sex, the performance ends, and your truth appears. When you feel drained, it often means you crossed your own limits or gave from a place that was already empty. When you feel hollow, it usually means your body participated, but your heart was not truly met. There is also another kind of aftermath, and it feels very different. Sometimes, after sex, you notice a quiet sense of expansion. Your body may be naturally tired, but your inner world feels strangely calm. You breathe more deeply. Your thoughts are not spinning. You do not feel smaller. You feel more yourself. There is no rush to distract, no urge to run away from your own mind. Even if the relationship is not perfect or guaranteed, that moment leaves a trace of dignity and truth inside you. You may think to yourself, I did not abandon who I am. For a chosen one, this difference is impossible to ignore. You can lie to yourself about what a moment meant, but your body will still reveal it later. That is why the aftermath is such a powerful mirror. It shows whether that encounter honored your soul or only used your body. It shows whether you were really there or whether you had to leave parts of yourself behind just to go through with it. Most people are taught to measure sex only by what happens in the moment, how intense it was, how attractive the other person is, whether there was pleasure. You were not built that way. Your system measures sex by the way you feel when everything goes quiet. If you repeatedly wake up feeling empty or deeply exhausted, something inside you is asking for a different way of relating. If you notice that the rare moments of peace always come when your limits are respected and your heart is considered, that is not a coincidence either. It is a compass pointing toward the kind of intimacy that truly fits who you are. You are not weak because you cannot just shake it off and move on. You are not too sensitive because sex lingers in your body and mind for longer than it seems to in other people. You are someone whose inner world refuses to treat intimacy as meaningless. Your exhaustion, your emptiness, and your quiet peace are not accidents. They are messages. The more you listen to these messages, the less you will feel at war with yourself. You will start recognizing which situations slowly destroy your self-respect and which ones support it. You will stop demanding from your body the ability to stay indifferent when something important is being touched. You will begin to understand that the way you feel after sex is one of the clearest signs that you are, in fact, a chosen one. Someone who cannot disconnect their soul from their body without paying a very real price. Now we have walked through the 5 strange signs: the chills, the heart, the activations in your body, the invisible presence in the room, and the truth that appears after everything is over. It is time to bring all of this together and remind you of something essential. You were never broken for feeling this way. If you recognize yourself in these signs, there is something important you need to hear clearly, maybe more clearly than anyone has ever said it to you. Nothing about you is a mistake. All those moments in which your body seemed to betray you during sex, the chills that arrived without warning, the tight chest that wanted to cry, the strange tingling that made no sense, the feeling that the room was not really empty, the exhaustion or emptiness after everything was over. None of that happened because you are weak or broken. They happened because you are awake. Think for a moment about your own story. There were nights when you felt that wave of energy rushing through your body, even though nothing on the outside had changed. There were moments when your heart reacted so strongly that you almost had to hold back tears, without understanding why such a simple act felt so heavy. There were situations when your hands, your spine, your neck, or your belly seemed to speak louder than your thoughts. There were encounters that left you with the clear sensation that something bigger than 2 bodies was present. And there were mornings when you looked at yourself afterwards and felt either strangely hollow or unexpectedly calm, even if no one else would have guessed it. For years, you may have carried all this as a private flaw. You watched the world talk about sex as if it were just a casual experience, something you do, enjoy, and forget. But you could not forget. Your body remembered, your emotions remembered, your conscience remembered. Every time you tried to be normal and treat intimacy as something without meaning, your system pulled you back and said, in its own language, "This matters." That is what makes you a chosen one. Not that you are better than anyone else, but that you have been given a nervous system, a heart and a conscience that refuse to go fully numb. You cannot disconnect your body from your soul without feeling the fracture. You cannot pretend that a moment is harmless when your entire inner world is reacting. You cannot keep repeating situations that hurt you without something deep inside beginning to shout. Your weird reactions are not obstacles to your happiness. They are attempts to lead you toward a kind of intimacy that does not destroy you. From now on, you have the chance to relate differently to yourself. Instead of asking, "Why am I like this?" you can begin to ask, "What is this reaction trying to show me?" The chills that run through your body may be pointing to a truth you are afraid to admit. The pressure in your chest may be asking you to slow down, or inviting you to recognize that your heart is finally being touched. The tingling in your body may be revealing emotions and boundaries that you have pushed aside for too long. The sense of presence in the room may be your own conscience asking you to live in a way you can respect later. The way you feel after sex may be the clearest mirror of all, showing whether that moment honored or ignored who you truly are. This does not mean that from today on, you will suddenly make perfect choices. You will still have moments of confusion, desire, fear of being alone, nostalgia, habit. There will be times when you notice the signals and still choose against yourself, simply because you are human and you are learning. But there is a deep difference between being lost in the dark and walking with a light in your hand. Even if your steps are not always straight, your body is that light. Each sensation is a small beam showing you where your soul feels safe and where it does not. You are allowed to build a new standard for yourself. You are allowed to say that sex, for you, must be more than contact. It must be coherent with your heart. You are allowed to want partners who listen when you say stop or slower or I am not ready. You are allowed to step away from situations that look exciting but leave you feeling abandoned by your own self. You are allowed to choose fewer encounters and deeper truth. You are allowed to protect your sensitivity instead of constantly sacrificing it to avoid disappointing others. Imagine, for a moment, a future version of you lying down after an intimate moment and actually feeling at peace. Your chest is not tight. Your stomach is not twisted. You do not feel smaller than before. You know that you did not cross your own lines, that you did not pretend to be someone else just to be accepted. You might not know exactly what will happen with that relationship, but you can look at yourself and think, at least I did not abandon myself. That feeling is possible, and your strange sensations, far from being obstacles, are actually guiding you there. This journey is not about becoming cold or suspicious of every touch. It is about becoming present. It is about learning to carry your soul with you into every room, into every bed, into every choice, instead of leaving it outside the door. It is about treating your body not as an object you lend to moments, but as a home that deserves respect every time someone enters. It is about letting your sensitivity be your ally instead of your enemy. If anything in this spoke deeply to you, I want to invite you to seal this moment with a very simple act. Go to the comments and write one sentence. I am learning to listen to my body. It may look small, but it is not. When you write that, you are not only interacting with a video, you are making a quiet promise to yourself. You are saying, I will not ignore my own truth so easily anymore. I will not treat my reactions as defects. I will, little by little, learn to trust what I feel. And you are also allowing others who feel exactly like you to recognize themselves and feel less alone. You are not crazy. You are not dramatic. You are not broken. You are someone whose body, heart, and soul have been trying to protect you in the only way they know how. You are a chosen one. And from today on, you can begin to choose yourself back.